Good evening. I am Cynthia Elliott, President of the Rochester Board of Education. This is February 17th, our regular business meeting. And before I begin, just want to congratulate again all of the scholars who were honored this evening for their exceptional academic achievement for Black History Month. It was a great event. I want to thank Commissioner Patterson for that poem that he also read to our scholars. It was a great poem. And I also want to just acknowledge again our community awardee, Jackie Dozier, who said that, you know, she doesn't do this work for awards. She just do the work. And I appreciate that so much, that this is just work that we do because we want to do it in our community. So just want to send congratulations to our scholars and those who help our scholars, as well as our this year's community activist awardee. So thank you for that. So having said that, we'll go to an act of reverence and pledge of allegiance to the flag. So if you have a flag wherever you are, or if you want to remain silent, so however you want to display your reverence, we'll take a few minutes to do that. Thank you. So the next item on the agenda is the Board of Education upcoming events, and I'm going to pass that on to Kalia Wade. Ms. Wade?
Yes, good evening, everyone, and welcome to our board business meeting. I'm going to share on the screen shortly our Board of Education upcoming events. It will be an exciting time for us in March because we will be kicking off our budget season. So you will see more events than usual. So coming up, I would like to say firstly, next week, there will be no meetings as we will all be going on break. And so for all of our students, please be safe. And all of our schools, please be safe. We will join you again on March 1st with the policy and audit committees of the whole. And then the following day, which is a Wednesday, that's a non-typical meeting day because we start, as I said, with our budget event. So there will be a budget webinar held virtually at 5:30 p.m. We want to remind members of the public that you may submit questions by going to www.rcsdk12.org/budget, where you'll be able to access all the budget events, as well as see how you can participate in this year's budgetary process. As Vice President LeBron noted in our Finance Committee meeting on Tuesday, we will be starting collaborative community budgeting, and that will be something very exciting for our community members to participate in the budgetary process this year. After the budget webinar, the Board of Education will be having its annual legislative breakfast on March 5th. There is an asterisk there because that is by invitation only. And so we welcome all of our invited guests to join us on Saturday, March 5th for the legislative breakfast. The board will also be hosting a work session on March 3rd. So that is a Thursday, that is also a closed session. So just to let folks know, the board continues to meet to work on several topics, and that will be March 3rd, but it will be a closed meeting. So you will not see a live link for that. The ESA Committee of the Whole meets on March 8th on the Tuesday. And then very especially, I do want to let folks be aware that there will be a special meeting convened as a closed session on March 10th regarding the superintendent's evaluation process. Again, that is a closed session regarding special individuals, but the board continues to maintain the functions of the academic and fiscal plan. And so that is highlighted for folks to follow along with our process. We will have our finance meeting, which is a special meeting for the presentation of the district and East EPO 2022-2023 budget. And that will take place on March 15th at 5:30 p.m. Please pay attention to that date if you're interested in finding out more about the district's budgetary process. That is when they will present the budgets and we will really officially kick off things with the deliberation processes. Finally, we will have our business meeting on March 24th, and that will be preceded at 5:30 with our Women in History observance. And so we will be celebrating some fine female students this year, as well as participants in the community who have done some wonderful things under our Women in History observance. So we ask you to join us, and thank you very much. That is the end of our upcoming events for March.
Thank you, Kalia. The next item on the agenda is consideration of the minutes of the January 13th, 2022 board work session. Can I get a motion?
So moved.
Moved by Commissioner Malloy. Can I get a second?
Second.
Second by Vice President LeBron. Any questions on the minutes of January for this work session of January 13th? If none, can I get all in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Thank you. And is everybody on screen to vote? All right, thank you. Can I get a motion for the consideration of the minutes of the January 20th, 2022 board work session?
So moved.
Can I get a second?
Second.
Moved by Commissioner Malloy, second by Vice President LeBron. Any questions or discussion on these minutes from January 20th? Hearing none, all in favor?
Aye. Aye. Aye.
Any opposed? Thank you. Now we're moving to our speakers list. And Kalia, you want to call our speakers?
Correct. We have one speaker this evening. It is Antonia Iannucci, a parent who is speaking on the topic of special education. I am not seeing Mr. Iannucci in the waiting room at this current moment. I do see an April Harrison in the waiting room, and so I'm not sure if that is him. I will be, we are contacting the persons in the waiting room, but we're not getting a response. So I will ask you to move on. And if at all I am able to get in contact with you, I will let you know, President Elliott.
Thank you. Do we have a student advisory report?
We do have our student representative, Anaya, is here with us in the room.
Good evening, Anaya.
Good evening. Hi, everyone. My name is Anaya Simmons. I am the president of the Rochester City School District Student Leadership Congress. And this is the official report for the Student Leadership Congress's planning meeting in February of 2022. This month of February, SLC did not host a district-wide meeting. It was to my understanding President Elliott and Commissioner LeBron were expected to be at the SLC February meeting. I apologize if the cancellation was inconvenient and invite you to join SLC's March meeting, which will be held on Wednesday, March 16th. In place of our regularly scheduled meeting, my executive council and I had decided to plan other events, meetings, and opportunities for the district students. My executive council and I have been planning on hosting an event on behalf of the SLC. The event would be used to facilitate conversation between students in the district on a various number of issues and topics, as well as brainstorm and communicate ways to relieve issues concerning the students of the district. While this event does not have a concrete date, the council is looking at Saturdays within March to host the event. My council and I are also planning a student legislative breakfast where SLC will be inviting a number of community organizations, members, and politicians to hear our concerns, questions, and commentary on what being an RCSC scholar looks like. This event is similar to the one previously mentioned. However, this event the conversation is centered between students and the invited adults. As my council and I get further in the planning process, we will announce a date. After my January report, the district Information Management and Technology Department has reached out to host a meeting with SLC. We are still in communication with the department and hopes to host a meeting in the upcoming weeks. President Elliott, this is all I have at the time. And for this month, I have no comment on any board resolutions. On behalf of the students, happy Black History Month, and thank you.
And thank you to you, and happy Black History Month to you and all the students of our district. The next report is from our Parent Leadership Council. Okay, maybe we'll come back to.
Give me 1 second. I'm gonna try and let her in. 1 second.
Okay.
April?
Yes,
All right, you're all set to provide the report.
thank you so much. My name is April Harrison. I am the interim president of the Parent Leadership Advisory Council. And the month of January ended with the meeting of parents with Commissioner Powell to go over the work that was done for Policy 1900. And we want to thank Lauren McCoy, Director of Grants for Academic Programs, for assisting parents through this review, and for Commissioner Powell for being open to this process. The policy is now with the legal department, and we're hopeful about hearing back before the next Black leadership meeting on March 3rd. On Wednesday, February 2nd, the executive school-based planning team met, and we were appreciative to have leadership from 4 of the 5 unions. For the next meeting, we have asked for names listed as parents on school-based planning teams so that PLAC can connect with them and offer support and information to them, and they to us. We would also like to see the RCSD website updated to include the schedule and meeting minutes. Black leadership team met on February 7th with President Elliott. She joined, and we discussed a number of ways that we can work together on accountability for SBP, the school-based planning teams, parent groups, and parent participation. The team reviewed the goals for the future of PLAC, which includes, but is not limited to, a general membership of PLAC parents representing 10% of every school community and 1% of every school community serving on the leadership team. We will spend most of the rest of this school year planning and implementing strategies to achieve these goals. One of those strategies is that we are beginning the planning process of our first in-person PLAC meeting for our final quarterly meeting of the school year on May 18th. The theme of this meeting will be to celebrate parents with our scholars, which is so needed in this moment. Yesterday evening on February 16th, we hosted our third of 4 quarterly general membership meetings for PLAC parents. We have been and are continuing to be a district of crisis, one right after another. And we want to take a moment to thank Commissioner Simmons and Commissioner Patterson for joining us. And we have been looking as parents for the next crisis when it is already here. Instead of just one issue, it is a compounding of issues that have been unresolved. The transportation crisis is not over. Parents must balance delays, buses not showing up, inexperienced bus drivers, and all of the safety concerns that come with that, which includes students being bullied or jumped and are now afraid to ride the bus when that is the only form of transportation to and from school for many families. Also, the mental health crisis is still apparent, it's still starting. Long-term suspensions are not a solution for students dealing with mental health and undiagnosed learning disabilities. Students who were remote for a year feel invisible, and punitive measures exacerbate an already painful situation. Implementation, communication, and holding schools accountable for constant restorative practices for all students should be the norm. Parents are reporting district-wide, regardless of the age of their scholars, that the mental health of our students is continuing to deteriorate. And while our children are required to be in the classroom, the supports they need to succeed are not available at a level that is supportive, inclusive, or equitable. And there is no one specifically tasked publicly to hold accountable. Also, our special education is in crisis. The public was told at the end of 2020-2021 school year that over 90% of parents were attending meetings for their children's IEPs. It has recently come to light that the number is actually 51%, which equates to approximately 2,500 students who did not have a parent present at an IEP meeting. Schools are reporting that there is a disconnect between special education referrals and meetings and have been promised for months that there is a solution coming, while students who need these services and teachers who need these supports continue to go without. So that you are aware, the district's organization chart is blank. There is only one employee listed on the entire document, and that is Dr. Robin Hooper. This is a downloadable, editable, and uploadable document, just so that you are aware. As enrollment and school choice opens for the next school year, the school finder that allows parents to see which schools are in their zones is not available. We would like an update on when this will be fixed. Communication, accountability, and equity. We ask each of you on this Zoom call to call 5 parents in the district over the next month and have a conversation to ask them how their school year is going and just listen. You need to listen to what they have to say, or the problems you highlight in this meeting tonight will never begin to be resolved in a meaningful way. Thank you so much for the time and space to share, and please feel free to forward all questions to our email. Thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Harrison. Appreciate the report. The next report is from the Bilingual Education Council.
And the Bilingual Education Council report will be translated by Chief Ramos Lopez.
Thank you.
Cynthia, I think the parents are having a hard time logging on. Can you give us a few?
Kalia, can you help with that?
I was not aware, I apologize, but if someone is able, I will contact folks via email. Thank you.
Okay, it may be on their end.
Is that going to take a minute? Should we go on to the committee?
I just let in Deveth.
Okay.
Can you tell me how many other persons you had joining you?
There should be a Nikki or a Nikauri, but if
Okay.
Deveth is the only one, that's fine.
Okay, no, I'm not seeing any of them at all, but I did let in Deveth.
Nikari is here.
Okay, there we go, Nikari. All right. So Nikari is here and we have Deveth, and Marisol is, she was having some technical difficulties, but I do see that she is also joining audio right now as well. So if you can just give 2 minutes, President Elliott, we should be able
Sure.
to report. Okay, Marisol is on now. I'm going to ask our tech team if they can please make her a co-host. Thank you.
Thank you.
I am supposed to be translating for the BEC report.
Yes.
Thank you.
Whenever you're ready, Angelica.
Deveth,
Aquí estoy, muy buenas noches. Ok, empiezo con el reporte.
Sí, Divet, si usted quiere, lea un párrafo, entonces yo puedo seguir el párrafo siguiente.
Ok, yo voy a hacer pausa para que tenga tiempo, no se preocupe.
Muchas gracias.
Ok. Bueno, Buenas noches. Mi nombre es Tibet García, vicepresidenta del Concilio de Educación Bilingüe. Estoy aquí con el resto de los oficiales del BC.
Good evening.
El Concilio de Educación Bilingüe está formado por padres bilingües, organizaciones comunitarias y educadores que representan y defienden los derechos educativos a una educación bilingüe de calidad para nuestros estudiantes en el distrito.
The Bilingual Education Council is made of bilingual parents, community-based organizations, and educators representing and advocating for the educational rights to a quality bilingual education for our students in the district.
Los siguientes son elementos que continuamos siendo destacados.
The following are items we continue to be outstanding.
El departamento bilingüe necesita asegurar a un estudiante aprendiz del idioma inglés ELL de cada escuela secundaria que albergue el programa de educación bilingüe. Continúo, Marisol.
I believe she is frozen. Marisol,
Yeah, she seems like she's frozen.
are you
No.
back from Marisol?
Can you hear me?
We can hear you now.
Ok. El
Beth,
departamento.
déjame repetir ese párrafo porque parece que me corté.
Ok.
The bilingual department needs to secure one English language learner from each high school, which houses the bilingual education program. BEC officials continue to attend the parent.
Froze Marisol.
You guys want me to just take over so that we can keep it moving?
Ok.
Ok, Dive, yo voy a empezar. Yo voy a leerlo. Yo no sé cuál tú terminaste, pero yo voy a leer la última que ella dijo. The bilingual department needs to secure one English language learner from each high school which houses the bilingual education program. ¿Tú terminaste ahí o tú seguiste? Dive.
Discúlpame. Sí. Los
Sigo.
siguientes son elementos que continuamos siendo destacados. El departamento bilingüe necesita asegurar a un estudiante aprendiz del idioma inglés.
Espérate, yo estoy leyendo lo que ustedes mandaron en inglés. The BEC officials continue to attend the Parent Leadership Advisory Council PLAC and the Special Education Parent Advisory Committee CPAC. We have not yet selected BEC parent representatives to attend due to continued barriers around language access with all parent groups and not having interpreters available. This continues to be one of the great concerns as it limits the council's ability to receive critical information, actively engage in discussions, and proactively express the needs of those the council represents. In addition, we would also like to recommend that all district interpreters are trained in order to improve the quality of their interpretation. We have not heard back about next steps for hiring and reinstatement of the executive director. So si tú quieres, sigue de ahí. Vive.
Sí, discúlpame, que es que mi
No,
hijo
está bien.
tengo un niño con autismo y es un problema a veces.
Bendito.
La reunión del BC de febrero contó con una gran asistencia y se llevó a cabo a través de Zoom. Los directores de todas las escuelas bilingües asistieron y brindaron presentaciones sobre sus programas bilingües. Los padres tuvieron la oportunidad de hacer preguntas. La comisionada Cynthia Elliott estuvo presente y compartió sus prioridades y compromiso con la educación bilingüe con los padres del concilio. Por otra parte, continuamos experimentando desafíos con la transportación. Los padres informan que los autobuses llegan muy tarde, lo que hace que los estudiantes pierdan sus primeras clases. El concilio continúa participando de todas las reuniones del equipo de planificación escolar y se ha asociado activamente con The Children's Agenda para apoyar una iniciativa de salud mental infantil. Con esto concluye nuestro informe de actividades. Muchas gracias y buenas noches.
Okay, gracias. The February BEC meeting was well attended and took place via Zoom. The principals from all the bilingual schools were in attendance and provided presentations on their bilingual programs. Parents had the opportunity to ask questions. Commissioner Cynthia Elliott was in attendance and shared her priorities and commitment to the bilingual education with council parents. We continue to express challenges with transportation. Parents are reporting the buses are arriving very late, causing students to miss their first classes. The council continues to participate in all school-based planning meetings and has actively partnered with the Children's Agenda to support a child's mental health initiative. And this concludes our activity report. Muchas gracias, which means thank you, February 2022. Gracias, Diva.
Thank you so very much.
Thanks, everyone.
Thank you. It was my pleasure to attend the Bilingual Education Council. Just disappointed that we don't have them in person. So looking forward to attending in person. So we will not, the next agenda item is an executive session, but we will have that executive session at the end of our meeting. And so the next item on the agenda is our board reports. And we'll start with Commissioner Simmons with, is there a report for CIGR, Kalia, that we want to report instead of Commissioner Adams?
There is a report for CIGR. It is submitted to the record on board docs. If anyone would like to read it on his behalf, he was going to be in attendance, but he was not able to make it tonight. But it is submitted to the record unless someone would like to read it directly out of board docs.
Any one of the council members like to read it? Commissioner LeBron, would you like to read his report?
Yes, I would. Thank you.
Thank
I
you.
was trying to get my, I'm getting it open on my other screen here. Hold on. It says the policy committee, but I believe it is the Community and Intergovernment Relations Committee met as committee of the whole on Tuesday, February 1st, 2022. Kalia, just note there's a typo there, so that can be corrected. During that meeting, President Elliott led the CIGR Cal meeting on behalf of Commissioner Adams. Minutes from the November 2nd, 2021 CIGR meeting was reviewed and accepted. The board received updates on the 2022 legislative breakfast. The board reviewed and discussed and approved the legislative priorities for the 2022 legislative breakfast. And the board received updated announcements on the Monroe County School Board Association's legislative breakfast and the Big Fives legislative conference. The next CIGR committee meeting is to be determined for the 22-23 school year, but the next event we have is going to be the legislative breakfast. Thank you. That concludes the report.
Thank you, Vice President. Commissioner Simmons for the Equity and Student Achievement Committee report. Commissioner Simmons.
Absolutely. Good evening, everyone. The Equity and Student Achievement ESA Committee of the Whole met on Tuesday, February 8th. During that meeting, one comment was submitted into the record on North Star. Minutes from the December 14th, 2021 and January 11th, 2022 ESA or Equity and Student Achievement Committee of the Whole meetings were reviewed and accepted. The board considered several human capital resolutions related to the appointment of individuals to the district positions, permanent appointments and resignations and suspension appeal resolution. On behalf of the Superintendent of Schools, Dr. Leslie Meyer-Small, the Deputy Superintendent, Dr. Janelle Morris, presented the superintendent's update on school closures and grade configurations that was submitted into the record. The Deputy Superintendent, Dr. Kathleen Black, provided the February academic update including information on the multi-year curriculum adoption plan or schedule and high school redesign, which was submitted into the record. Director of CTE, Sheldon Cox, provided an update on career and technical education that was also submitted into record. And finally, Executive Director of School Innovation, Dan Hurley, provided an update on summer learning that was submitted into record. The next ESA committee meeting will take place on Tuesday, March 8th at 5:30 p.m.
Thank you. And I believe that the next report is our Finance Committee report. Vice President LeBron?
Yes, thank you. There's actually no report submitted, but I will not do that again. I just want folks to know we should have documented, and also when the next committee of the whole for finance was going to be. But I will ask for a motion to approve the January 2022 unaudited finance report.
So moved.
Second?
Second. All
Second?
those in favor? Thank you, President Elliott. All those in favor?
Aye.
Okay.
Kalia, we're gonna get the screen to vote?
Yes, it is open right now.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah.
So has everybody voted, Kalia?
Yes, we do have everyone voted. Thank you.
Okay, I'm just need to get my screen back to where I can see the next item on the agenda. HR committee, we didn't have a committee. That committee is not scheduled to meet until April, but we did have Chief Miller to present a report in the Finance Committee. Policy Committee, Commissioner Powell?
Yes, thank you. The Policy Committee report has been submitted in writing. It is on board docs, so I'm not going to read it. I'll just highlight that we met on Tuesday, February 1st. We currently have policies at every stage in the pipeline. They are currently all listed under new business right now. And we also, the third reading is represented by resolutions at the end of our agenda. And our next policy committee meeting is Tuesday, March 1st, and it's projected to start at 7 p.m. We will be second in the committee queue.
Thank you, Commissioner Powell. I do have a report, and I'll write it up and submit it to our board staff to post. But I wanted to report on, well, first of all, let me report on the graduation rates that I'm really excited about, that we have for the overall graduation rate for the Rochester City School District is 71.4%. And that is exciting news for us. I want to congratulate all of our teachers, all of our principals, all of our paras, everyone who supported our students during these most difficult times in our history, but they in fact did the work. So while there are a lot of things that were going on in our world, we were still educating our students, graduating our students. I want to thank everybody involved, and I want to also thank our students who, even though these were challenging times, did the work. And so I want to congratulate them. I want to point out, however, well, not however, moreover, that while the graduation rate was 71.4%, the general education graduation rate was 77.2%. The graduation rate for our Asian Island Pacific students, that graduation rate was around 83%. So there's a lot of great work that we're doing. And I wanted to not only thank the district, but let me also thank this board, because this board tends to take a lot of heat. And that's okay. But at the same time, I think it's also important that when things are positive things that come out of this district where we are the leaders, that we take credit for that. And so I want to just thank this board for that work, for the passion that they display and the kinds of critical questions that are asked, that we make sure that gets translated or transferred to the district so that they can operationalize those thoughts and comments and questions. And we see the results of that. And I'm expecting us to do even more, because while we're celebrating the graduation rates, we still have work to do around special education and around our male students, as well as our ELL students. So there's still work to be done, but I wanted to just thank everybody for that. And I know that if the superintendent was here, that she would also be thanking everybody as well. And so this is great work, but we still got a lot more work to do. And again, thank you all, everybody, for doing this great work. The next item that I want to report on is about the transportation legislation in the state. Looks like that legislation is getting traction. And when we were talking to the New York State delegation, I asked if we could write letters of support, and the legislation encouraged it. So I've been going around to various community groups and our unions and a number of organizations and parents, put it on my Facebook to send letters of support. So I want to thank Kalia for helping in that effort. We got a lot of letters that are being sent to the legislature, and we're hoping that with this legislation that the eligibility would be reduced from 1.5 miles to 0.5 miles, so more of our students will participate in that. I also attended the Community Engagement Initiative this past weekend, and I was in the parent breakout session. And one of the things that the parents talked about, there was some criticism about how parents were treated when it came to our teachers. And so I contacted Adam Urbanski and asked him if he would be willing to speak with our parents, and he's agreed to do that as well. I also want to mention that many of us, and I want to thank my colleagues for attending the Monroe County School Board Association. I don't think that from the Rochester City School District that we've had that kind of representation before. So we showed up and we showed out. And so I was really, really pleased about that. There are meetings that have been set up for me to meet with each union representative. So I'm excited about meeting with each union representative to see if we can really collaborate and work even more harmoniously together on behalf of our students. And lastly, I just want to say that we will resume our school visits. The leadership team will resume those visits. We're going to go to a lot of our high performance schools because, you know, we tend to focus in on our schools that need to perform better, but we never showcase as we should. I shouldn't say never, but we just don't attend those schools. And I want us to be able to attend those schools and show our schools that we appreciate all the work that they're doing as well. And so with that concludes my report. And the next item is the superintendent's report. And Mike, I understand you're instead for Superintendent Myers-Small. You're muted.
President Elliott, yes, good evening. I've been asked to be the acting superintendent for Dr. Myers-Small today and tomorrow in her absence. And I'm prepared to present her the superintendent's report this evening. First, I would be remiss if I would ask everybody to take a brief moment of silence for Dr. Myers-Small and her family as they mourn the passing of Leslie's mom, Miss Clara Myers, who passed away recently. So if we could have just a moment of reflection, that would be great. Thank you. So once again, it's an honor to be with you this evening and recognizing our Black History Month festivities earlier and going through the superintendent's report. In terms of Black History Month, our students from Anna Murray Douglas Academy, school number 12, were featured in a video that was shown in Washington, DC as part of Douglas Week. I want to acknowledge our students and staff who participated in Black History Month celebration earlier tonight. We have a very talented group of students across our district. It's also, once again, my honor to recognize our recent announcement of increase of our graduation rates. The RCT has again achieved its highest graduation rate in consecutive years for more than a decade. The New York State Education Department released its data for the 2021 graduating class, showing Rochester's four-year graduation rate was 71.4% in August, which is a 3.2 percentage point increase from 2020. These results continued a trend of steady increase in graduation rates over the past several years. Subgroup data of note, 3.6 percentage point increase for our economically disadvantaged students from 65.6% to 69.2%. A 2.9% point increase for our students with disabilities from 47.9% to break the 50% barrier at 50.8%. A 2.7% increase for our English language learners from 50% to 53.4%, and a 2.3% increase in our, decrease, excuse me, in dropouts from 12.9% to 10.6%. These results show that student achievement is improving with a cohort of students who spent many months in remote learning environment while also dealing with all the ongoing effects of the pandemic. I also want to provide information in regards to our school of choice. The school of choice process is now open for incoming kindergarten, 7th and 9th grade students. We're happy to say parents at all three grade levels are now able to register online at www.rcsdk12.org. The deadline for school choice for the school choice lottery is Thursday, April 14th. Students who do not participate in the lottery will be placed in a school closest to their home where space is available after the selection process is complete. Even though next week is February break, the student placement office will be open every day except for Monday in observance of President's Day. Also very important to recognize the Edison Educational Summit, which was done to reinforce the value of education in the city of Rochester. Mr. Jacob Scott and his excellent, as always, and his team as always has done an excellent job with their second annual education summit on Saturday, January 29th. This was an opportunity for parents, students, educators, members of the faith-based community, and the general public to come together to reinforce the value of education in the city of Rochester. City Court Judge Steve Miller served as the keynote speaker, and participants addressed issues such as the lingering effects of COVID-19, unfinished learning, and social emotional needs of our community. Job Shadow Day. The Career and Technical Education Department is planning a district-wide Job Shadow Day on Thursday, March 24th. Interested seniors will job shadow at local businesses of their choice. These will be held remotely through Zoom or in person, depending on the business partner and the logistics that we can work out. I want to thank all of our participating companies who represent a wide variety of careers. I hope our seniors will take full advantage of this great opportunity. This one actually has special meaning to me. Our World Read Aloud Day was celebrated at school number 33. Many of central office employees, as well as a variety of members of our community, celebrated World Read Aloud Day at School 33 earlier this month. I want to thank the School 33 community for inviting us to celebrate with them, as well as the many community partners and volunteers who read to our young scholars. I had the personal privilege of speaking to Ms. Casada's sixth grade classroom, and if you would allow me a personal privilege, I promised the students of her class that I would give them a shout out this evening. The students that day, we read the Jackie Robinson story, and they also gave us great insight in they would like a numerous number of snow days, and we talked a lot about how they can support the chief operating officer in making that decision on a morning by morning basis. We may put them into utilization as we approach tomorrow's weather. So real quickly, I want to shout out Liliana, Samaya, Aja, Angel, Keontae, Giovanni, Christy, Kennedy, excuse me, Diedrich, Kayla, Faith, Josiah, Shamira, Joe, Yahirda, Micah, Akeem, and Devaya. They were fantastic, and it was really a privilege to work with them. Also a big week ahead of us in terms of RCSD sports. First and foremost, we have scored a big touchdown when we found out earlier this month that we'd be able to field 2 girls flag football teams in the spring. The New York State High School Athletic Association is starting a pilot program across the state where teams will play 6 to 8 games this spring season starting in April. Girls from across the district will form 2 teams, one at Monroe Upper and another at Edison. They will play other teams from Section 5. The Buffalo Bills, the New York Giants, and the New York Jets and Nike are providing funding for the 48 schools across the state to participate. We're very hopeful that the girls will mirror the Buffalo Bills in terms of their expertise, and certainly not the New York Giants or Jets, who right now are struggling immensely. A couple of announcements that I really want to point out. First, we had an outstanding swimming achievement. We had Kiernan Keene was a sectional champion in the 100-meter breaststroke. And next week we have events. February 23rd, we have a doubleheader in girls and boys sectional basketball. 12 p.m. Edison is playing School of the Arts, and at 4:30, School of the Arts is playing Northeast College Prep. These are both at School 33. And with that, that completes the superintendent's report. And once again, it was a privilege to be here this evening. Thank you so much. And I certainly will take any questions.
Yep. Thank you, Mike. I'm excited about the that girls football team. That's something else. So that's going to be interesting. So
Absolutely.
I see that Vice President LeBron has her hand up.
Thank you. And my daughter's over here trying to talk to me on the side. So I do have a request, Mike, and I want it to be very detailed, so I wrote it down. I would like a 5-year trend analysis on actual parent choice through the parent choice selection through managed choice, since we're kicking it off and there were some tweaks and minor changes. And I'm specifically requesting 5 years because I want to see how many actual parents participate in the process versus how many students are actually placed through the system. Oftentimes parents do unfortunately miss the deadline. So how are those students then selected and placed? So I would like to see that. I want to see 2 years prior to COVID, the 2 years of COVID, so 2020, 2021. And then obviously, we could start it at 4 years. I would like to see it at the 5-year. I would like to see what happens at the end of this year circular for decision-making for choice. But certainly let's start with the 4 years and then I'll come back and request that 5-year, which would include this year.
I'm sure my great friends on executive cabinet will help me remember the variety of details with that, but I certainly will share that with Dr. Orden, Dr. Black, and Dr. Morris to get you that response as soon as possible.
Yeah, I'm looking at my board clerk. Did you get that? Because I just want to be clear, you captured that.
I captured that as well. Okay. For the question log. Given that this is a request for a study, do we need to do anything further regarding the request?
Does it, I guess it also depends on the amount of time that it's going to take, but I think that's going to, the superintendent may have to get back to us to let us know what kind of time is involved with that. And if that's the case, we're going to need 4 votes for that.
Yeah, I'll be prepared to bring it forward for a vote. We should be knowing how many actual parents participate in managed choice versus what the district has historically told us. And I think we would be surprised as commissioners that there's a disconnect there, especially as we move forward to have these conversations around managed choice. Thank you.
All right, thank you, Vice President. Any other questions for Mike on behalf of Superintendent Maya Small? Thank you. Then we'll move. That's an old hand, right, Vice President? We'll move on to our Superintendent of East High School, his report. Welcome, Dr. Nelms.
Good evening, commissioners, and great job, Mike. You're like a pro up there tonight.
Yeah.
I'm going to have a brief report this evening, and we'll just get started. I also want to start by thanking the folks who organized the Black History Month celebration last hour. It was really well done, and it was great to see and hear about all the different students and where they're headed moving forward in their lives. And I hope many of them choose to come back to the Rochester area and to share their expertise. I've already been in contact with Jacob Scott around some scholarship opportunities for the young lady who wants to be a school counselor, because there's some programs in the area that support students who want to get their master's in this community. So we'll make sure we get that information out to other students as well. This week, past week has been our Black History Month Spirit Week. We've had a host of events, and I want to thank the organizers of that. We had an individual who was a counselor at East, Stephanie Bliss, an East grad, and Stephanie is known by a lot of folks in the community. She recently took a job as an assistant principal in East Irondequoit, and she had done our program for years. So her colleagues really stepped up and gave a meaningful week of this week, but it's going to be bigger and better next year. We do miss Stephanie and her influence, but she's doing well out in East Irondequoit. Hope to get her back to Rochester too at some point. Next slide. The next few slides are just going to show some examples of what students were creating around East. We took a theme of Black Minds Matter. We really want to focus on some Black intellectuals, some names students may not be aware of. Often they hear about athletes and celebrities. We wanted to understand some of the deep thinkers in the community. And so you'll see murals of Black Minds Matter all throughout the school, and particularly in areas where students are often assembled. This is one of our displays. If you've been to East in this past year, it goes year-round. It's the periodic table, which you would see in a science classroom, but each element, if you will, is a different person's first and last name and their contributions within our American society. And so it's really interesting to see these individuals, and sometimes the names get swapped out for other names of people with the same letters of the alphabet. So if you're ever in East and you come into the main foyer, this is one of the images I would love for you to take a look at. It's not far from the EYES project. We saw the huge murals of individuals of African and African-American descent all over the courtyard at East. That was done last year with Sean Dunwoody. Students continue to display it through the arts, and you'll see this also in the front foyer. It's a teacher who's writing on a chalkboard, and throughout those images are different folks who represent the larger East community, past and present. And we really want to make sure that students see themselves not just in the hallways, but in the fabric of the school, and that the school itself is centered around diversity, inclusion, and equity. And you'll see all types of religions and race and orientation represented throughout East. Continue to move on. Just some of our babies. Keep going. I also want to bring attention to an event that I shared at the board in previous meeting, I believe. I know it's been all over social media. There's a Futures Ready job fair. The first of the inaugural date was on February 8th. The next date for students who want to get jobs in the community is February 15th, where they'll go through some job training and interviewing skills. And then on the 22nd of February are the actual virtual interviews. There are a number of agencies that are represented in this job fair. This is, again, open to all students throughout the RCSD. We started hosting, the original idea actually came from Wegmans to expand our network and to include more businesses who are paying, $15 an hour or more to students, both past and present. So we are actually contacting students who graduated the last 2 years to let them know. We had a few kids hired already in the farm tech industry at U of R. Other kids who've been hired to do. There's another department within U of R, and so we're getting in droves these organizations and businesses asking to help fill the labor force, and they're paying rates for students who are here working through college or kids who want to just go right into the workforce. And we're also expanding this to include parents. And so the next iteration of this is to make sure that we are targeting parents too, who are looking for employment opportunities, looking for a change in employment placement. All throughout, Mike spoke about this earlier, about the sectional games that are happening this week. For many of our seniors who are not playing in sectional games because their season ended, this is their last season for those kids in the fall, and these kids now in the spring. For those seniors, we wish them well. We had a couple of senior nights this week for both boys and girls basketball, but we did it last semester with volleyball and other sports. But just an acknowledgement. I remember being a high school senior and playing my last game and thinking about never dribbling a ball on that court again. It's a very emotional time. I was fortunate to play in college, and so I had to go through that whole trauma again 4 years later. But for some of these athletes who put a ton of energy and effort into being the best athlete that they can, and they're seniors now, I wish them well. And playing sports is all about being teammates and being collaborative, but it's also a change in physical lifestyle. And so I hope that these students stay active and stay healthy as they transition on to college, work, or the military. So that concludes my presentation. I do want to end by saying that just to the community who watched the board meetings and the budget, as you know, the district was finally given our ARP funds, American Recovery funds from the federal government. And so you'll see at times resolutions coming through for Saturday schools, for Regents exams. We know that now the state's application to have Regents exams held for one more year did not pass. It was not accepted by the federal government. So we will have Regents exams again this year. And so some of the stress and tension with that will hopefully be addressed by having students over the weekends or after school getting tutoring and one-on-one support. I think Ms. Harrison said it best. Our students are struggling in some cases emotionally, and the additional stress of testing can often lead kids down a bad path. And this is when we start to see kids drop out. So we're really trying to focus on this February to October. I'm intentionally saying that the end of this year, transitioning through the summer, and then through the first marking period of the upcoming school year. It's really important that we keep these kids fluid, and job opportunities help with that, and coordinating our work with the City Hall helps as well. So I just want to make sure that when they see title funds and art funds coming through, that this is really what the funds were intended to do, and that's to recover learning and to give kids an opportunity to be successful. And the signal from the federal government is that testing is back, and we're going to have to really transition kids back and getting into the test taking, Regents test taking mode. And that concludes. Thank you.
Thank you, Dr. Nelms. But I would also just say, when I was asked today about, when those tests are introduced to us again, that, they did so well during this time of challenge. I have the faith that they're going to be able to do these exams as well successfully. And that if we put the right strategy in place, I'm sure that they're going to do well. That's my faith. So I'm excited about the time when we do have the exams, and we can prove everybody that we can take those exams. So Commissioner Malloy.
Thank you. Dr. Nelms, thank you so much for your presentation this evening. It's so great to see what students are engaging in and doing. And so thank you so much for your report. On a personal note, I also just want to publicly thank you. Dr. Nelms deserves some kudos for speaking to Brighton High School this past week as our keynote speaker and filling in for Dr. Myers-Small, who could not attend. So you were our keynote speaker for the inaugural Black History Month Assembly hosted by Brighton High School's Black Student Union. And I just want to thank you for your continued efforts to connect our communities and to elevate student voices across Monroe County. It is so appreciated. And many of our students hail from or have connections with RCSD, and your continued leadership and your leading by example and your integrity is appreciated. And I know the students appreciated it. So thank you so much.
Thank you. It was an honor to be the speaker. Appreciate it.
Any other questions for Dr. Nelms? Thank you, Dr. Nelms. I sent you a text, Dr. Nelms, if you can respond so that I can acknowledge what I sent to you.
Okay. Yes, I'll do it for you right now.
Go. All right. So just give me a second so that Dr. Nelms can respond to me. Okay. I got this Kool-Aid smile. What I asked Dr. Nelms was what was his graduation rate numbers? And drum roll, it is 85.3%. So just congratulations to East High School and all of those teachers and principals and students who working so hard, and Dr. Nelms being at the helm of that. Thank you so very much. We congratulate you on that great number, 85.3%. Thank you so very much. So moving on to the consent agenda items. I'm going to first of all start by just thanking the people who gave us these donations, and then I'll ask if there are any questions, and then we can vote on these items as one. So just want to thank Mr. Saul Rasnick for giving Monroe High School $1,500. The Corning Foundation gave Edison $4,000. The Martin and Suzanne Sutter Family Foundation via the Rochester Community Foundation gave $10,000 to Edison. The Charities Foundation of America has donated $2,500 to School 28. So just want to thank those who are committed to the Rochester City School District by the gifts that they provide. So thank you so very much for that. Any questions on any of the agenda items A through B, and they're actually Resolution 424 through Resolution 433. Any questions on, first of all, let me get a motion.
I'm going to motion to consent the agenda items as one.
Can I get a second on that?
Seconded.
Any discussion on these items? Hearing none, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Any opposes? Is everybody on screen? Okay, thank you.
Online voting is open. If anyone would like me to document their vote manually, I can do so as well.
Capture the vote?
6-0. Yes.
Thank you. So we move down to the individual agenda items. Can I get a motion on Resolution 434?
So moved.
Can I get a move by Commissioner Malloy? Can I get a second?
Second.
Seconded by Vice President LeBron. Any discussion on Resolution 434? I have one question. The resolution indicated that we have 1,218 IEPs completed for our students. How many IEPs should we have completed on our students?
President Elliott, are you talking about the same resolution? Because 434 is the tenure.
Oh, I'm sorry. Please forgive me.
Okay.
I'm looking at 420. Excuse me. All right. My apologies on that. So no questions on that. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Thank you. Can I get a motion for Resolution 435?
Motion.
Seconded.
All right, who motioned?
I think it was Camille.
Yeah.
Commissioner
Yeah,
Simmons.
Commissioner
motion.
All
Simmons
right.
motions.
And Commissioner Malloy second.
Yes.
Any discussion on Resolution 435? Hearing none, all in favor?
Aye.
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 Thank you. Can I get a motion for Resolution 437?
So moved.
Moved by Commissioner
430.
Malloy.
436.
You know, my screen is moving all around. So give me 1 second, please. 436 we're on?
Yes.
All right. Motion for 436.
So moved.
Commissioner Malloy, and who's second?
I'll second.
Vice President LeBron. Any discussion on Resolution 436? Hearing none, all those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Thank you. Can I get a motion for resolution? Oh, forget the screen that we have to select.
President Elliott, if it's easier for you to just do your voice vote, I can take your manual vote if it's easier.
Okay. Well, it's a matter of waiting on it to come up and then going to the next resolution. So we're on Resolution 437? All right. Motion for Resolution 437.
So moved.
Second? That was moved by Commissioner Malloy. Can I get a
Second.
second for Resolution 437?
Second.
Seconded by Commissioner Patterson. Any discussion on Resolution 437? Hearing none, all those in favor?
Aye.
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 Aye. Any opposed to Resolution 437? Thank you. Can I get a resolution on, excuse me, can I get a motion on resolution for, and I'm going to believe it's 438. My screen just went to the other side. So
So moved.
motion for resolution 438.
So moved.
All, can I get a second?
Second.
Second, it was moved by Commissioner Malloy and seconded by Vice President LeBron. Any discussion on resolution 438? Hearing none, all those in favor?
Aye.
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 Any opposed? Thank you. Can I get a motion for resolution 439?
So moved.
Moved by Commissioner Malloy. Can I get a second for resolution 439?
Second.
Seconded by Vice President LeBron. Any discussion on resolution 439? Hearing none, all those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Aye. Any opposed?
Opposed, nay.
All right, so is that 5-1, Kalia, in favor?
I'm waiting on Commissioner Simmons.
Okay,
Oh, I said aye.
Okay, so you want me to record your vote manually?
Yes, if you don't mind.
All right, no problem.
Thank
okay. So the next one was 440, Kalia?
Correct, sorry about that.
All right, okay, no problem. Motion for resolution 440. Can I get a
So moved.
motion?
So moved.
Motion by Commissioner Malloy. Can I get a second?
Second.
Second by Vice President LeBron. Any discussion on resolution 440?
441,
Oh, is it 441?
yes.
I'm sorry. So the motion and the second is for resolution 441.
Hey,
Any discussion on resolution 441? Hearing none, all those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Aye. Any opposed on
Aye.
resolution? I'm sorry? Any opposed on resolution 441? Thank you. Everybody cast their vote, Kalia?
Everyone passed their vote 6-0, thank you.
All right, thank you. Can I get a motion for resolution 442?
So moved.
Moved by Commissioner Malloy. Can I get a second on resolution 442?
Second.
Seconded by Vice President LeBron. Any questions or comments on resolution 442? Hearing none, all those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Thank you. Can I get a motion for resolution 443?
So moved.
So moved by Commissioner Malloy. Can I get a second for resolution 443?
second.
Second. Oh, I think Commissioner Powell just said second.
Yes.
All right, thank you. Seconded by Commissioner Powell. Any discussion on resolution 443? Hearing none, all those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Thank you. Can I get a motion for resolution 444?
So moved.
Can I get a second on resolution 444?
Second.
Any discussion on resolution 444? All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Thank you. We're ready for 445, Kalia?
Could you hold for a minute? My screen just went down.
Can you hear us, Commissioner?
Yes, just a minute. It's coming back up.
Okay.
Thank you.
So Kalia, are we on 445 or 446?
So we're just finishing up 444. Commissioner Patterson is about to vote and
Okay.
on 445.
All right, thank you.
Okay, I'm back up. Thank you.
No
Thank you,
problem.
Commissioner. Can I get a resolution for, can I get a motion for resolution 445?
So moved.
Moved by Commissioner Malloy. Can I get a second?
Second.
Second by Vice President LeBron. Any discussion on resolution 445? Hearing none, all those in favor?
Aye.
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 Any opposed to resolution 445? Thank you. Cal, you captured the vote for 445?
It is correct. Yep, 6-0.
Thank you. Can I get a motion for resolution 446?
So moved.
Moved by Commissioner Malloy. Can I get a second for resolution 446?
Second.
Seconded by Vice President LeBron. Any discussion on resolution 446? Hearing none. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Any opposed to resolution 446? Thank you. Captured that vote, Talia, for
Yes,
446?
I did.
All
Motion
right.
passes 6-0.
Thank you. Can I get a motion for resolution 447?
So moved.
Moved by Commissioner Malloy. Can I get a second for resolution 447?
Second.
Vice President LeBron seconded. Any discussion on resolution 447? Hearing none, all those in favor?
Aye.
Any
Aye.
opposed to resolution 447? Thank you. Cal, did you
Oh.
capture that vote?
Still waiting on 2 more commissioners.
Okay,
The motion passes 6-0.
thank you. Can I get a motion for resolution 448?
So moved.
Moved by Commissioner Malloy. Can I get a second on resolution 448?
Second.
Seconded by Vice President LeBron. Any discussion on resolution 448? Hearing none, all those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Any opposed to resolution 448? Thank you. Screen is up to vote.
Motion passes 6-0.
Thank you. Can I get a motion for resolution 449?
So moved.
Moved by Commissioner Malloy. Can I get a second for resolution 449?
Second.
Seconded by Vice President LeBron. Any discussion on resolution 449? Hearing none. All those in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed to resolution 449?
Still waiting. Yes, motion passes 6-0.
Thank you. Can I get a motion for resolution 450?
So moved.
Moved by Commissioner Malloy. Can I get a second on resolution 450?
Second.
Seconded by Vice President LeBron. Any discussion on resolution 450? Hearing none, all those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Thank you.
They're still waiting.
Okay,
Motion passes 6-0.
thank you. Can I get a motion for resolution 451?
So moved.
Moved by Commissioner Malloy. Can I get a seconded by Vice President LeBron? Any discussion on resolution 451? All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Any opposed to resolution 451?
Waiting on one. There we go. Motion passes 6-0.
Thank you. Can I get a motion for resolution 452?
So moved.
Moved by Commissioner Malloy. Can I get a second?
Second.
Second by Vice President LeBron. Any discussion on resolution 452? Hearing none, all those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Any opposed?
Aye.
Thank you.
Motion passes 6-0.
Thank you. Can I get a motion for resolution 453?
So moved.
Moved by Commissioner Malloy. Can I get a second? Second on
Second.
resolution 453.
Second.
Seconded by Vice President LeBron. Any discussion on resolution 453? Hearing none, all those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Any opposed to resolution 453?
Waiting on one more vote. Motion passes 6-0.
Thank you. Can I get a motion for resolution 454?
So moved.
All right. Is it 454, Talia, or 453?
You're up for 454. Yes.
All right, thank you. So was that moved by Commissioner Powell?
No,
Malloy.
Commissioner Malloy, and I second it.
All right. Any discussion on resolution 454?
I have a
Hearing none.
discussion,
Excuse me?
just a question. The boot camp itself, how do I learn more about that?
I can answer that for you, Commissioner
Maureen, are you here?
Patterson.
There she is.
Can you hear me? You can give me a call, or we could talk to the principal. They're really looking at gaining some time back with students. It's a receivership school, and this is just additional time to do ELA and math work with students. But either of us can give you additional information.
Okay, thank you.
You get it.
Thank you, Rhonda.
So can I get all those in favor of resolution 454?
Aye.
Any opposed? Hearing none. It carries.
Motion carries 6-0.
Okay. Can I get a motion on resolution 455?
So moved.
Moved by Commissioner Malloy. Can I get a second?
Second.
Who was the second?
Commissioner
Commissioner
Simmons.
Simmons.
Commissioner Simmons, second. All those, any questions on resolution 455? Hearing none, all those in favor?
Aye.
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 We are waiting on a few more.
Okay,
Motion passes 6-0.
thank you. Can I get a motion on resolution 456?
So moved.
Moved by Commissioner Malloy. Is there a second?
Second.
Seconded by Vice President LeBron. Any discussion on resolution 456?
I have a quick question.
Sure.
I just wanted to know a little bit more about the renovations. I see there's some asbestos abatement. I know that School 33 went through a huge overhaul or renovation work a few years ago, back probably 10 years ago or so. I'm just wondering specifically what's being done to the school, or were there things that weren't caught during that first renovation?
Good evening, Commissioner. Yeah, this is a very modest project. We're changing some pneumatic control devices. And then we also installed a loading dock and a receiving area in a previous project. So we're putting a canopy or cover over that area this coming summer. So those are, it doesn't have any real connection to previous renovation there.
Fantastic. Thank you.
You're welcome.
Thank
Can
you.
I ask a follow-up question?
Sure, Commissioner Powell.
So, Chief Schmidt, is the asbestos monitoring is simply a legal requirement?
It would be available to us if we were to need to actually utilize it when we go and start the work. If we have found asbestos in the work, then the monitoring would come into play. We do not believe, because of the year of the building and the previous renovations, that that's going to be a situation that we're going to face, but we need to be ready just in case that occurs.
So this project could come in under budget?
It's certainly possible. We have other challenges, obviously, that we discussed earlier with some of the supply chain and that type of thing, but certainly has the potential to, yes.
Thank you.
Vice President LeBron.
Yeah, I'm also wondering, just in terms of having gone to a number of schools that also need some, I would say, even more critical attention to things that need to be addressed. Uplifting the fact that 33 did just go through not that long ago, and the building is actually every time I go, it's an excellent condition. And thinking about like a canopy, when some of our schools don't even have a fence in playground, and putting up a fence, just wondering how this was selected versus over the needs of other school buildings that currently exist. If you could share a little bit about that.
Sure. So the selection process, we kind of filter a variety of criteria as the schools are selected. The renovation work at 33 was done in the 90s. So the building it's been a sufficient amount of time for us to do some general update work. Because the receiving area at 33, the canopy being involved, is where our food service options come in. Having that area exposed to some of the snow and weather does create a bit of a safety issue. So that's why that was elevated to the higher on the list. Some of the criteria involved is certainly where the buildings may fall in terms of some of our closure conversations. It certainly would the buildings be part of a phase 2 or phase 3 modernization, where they recently had a modernization program. The urgency of whatever the work would be done. Generally, our capital work is infrastructure related. So if there are items that board members see in all of your visits and travels and so forth that we need to elevate, we would certainly take that into account as well. So the building condition survey is the first step that drives it outlines probably about $500 million worth of work that needs to be done. And then obviously we're dealing with about a $20 million annual capital project to try to work those items down. So there's a variety of mechanisms that go into kind of selecting the projects. We will be bringing you the recommendations for the summer of 23 work by March the 1st. That's our deadline. So we just actually finished that work this morning. So you would have that and to provide your feedback as part of the budget process.
Okay, and then where does the survey, you just mentioned that it starts at the survey. So who gets to determine who starts the survey and
Right,
what
so
schools get selected?
Yeah, great question. So the building condition survey is required by the New York State Education Department. We hire a firm that will go out and do an analysis of every single building. So it's not a survey that somebody fills out per se. So they test everything from roofs to all different types of areas of the building. It traditionally was done every 5 years, but because of COVID and some of the other interruptions, they've changed some of the rhythm of that project. But so our last building condition survey would have been in 2016. So we are up to have one, and now they've kind of changed some of the rhythm of that. So I believe we're going to be doing our next condition survey in the 23 school year. And I can find that out for sure, but I think that's where we're headed with it. We have to kind of line it up, as I said, with COVID, some of the things have been disrupted with there, but it's a requirement for us to access capital and reimbursement monies. We have to do that. We have to do that work. It's referred to, the acronym as a BCS.
Okay, I think this year I will have a list of schools and some of the needs like that they need in terms of, like I said, a fence for some of the playgrounds and even some things that weren't built in there where our schools are getting negative remarks, right? And they're like pre-K assessments because we don't have certain pieces in our playground. So those are small things, but they really do have an impact in other areas for the district. And also, I keep mentioning the fence because there's 2 schools I visited where we don't have a fence for kids. And so it actually creates a rather serious or dangerous potential danger if a kid is a runner. And I have my grandson, he's a runner. He's hard to I have to chase him. So I can't imagine having pre-K or EPK out there at that age, and they run. And we also have had older students that also are runners for a number of reasons. So those are the granular things, but are critically important that I want us to start looking at from building by building as we have conversations around capital improvement projects, and incorporate that into whatever process you have so that we are, as a board, educated on how the process works and how schools are selected, and that it's an equitable way to determine those things as well. Thank you.
Absolutely. I think especially if it's a high urgency of a safety issue, we may not even have to wait for a project. We may be to address that right away. So if you share those couple of things that you've seen in our upcoming CIP, we're actually proposing renovation of the School 35 playground. So we've done a variety of playgrounds, and we can capture that for the board as well. So excellent point. And like I said, if there's something that comes up that you see, please just send me a note or give me a call, and we will do our best to address it right away.
Commissioner
Another
Powell?
follow-up. Yeah, thank you. Another follow-up. The survey notwithstanding, Mike, I wonder if you haven't overlooked a step in the description, and that is that when our schools all rotate through, they all get a turn generally every 5 years as their maximum cost allowance from the previous renovation has expired on any school that has gotten double MCA for the facilities modernization won't get their next turn on the rotation for 10 years instead of 5, right?
You're absolutely correct. Whenever I seem to miss a step, you seem to pick up where my gap is, but you're absolutely correct. And I think
Just
things
put me on your payroll and I'll step down off the board.
no doubt about it. I think you mentioned the 5-year rotation, which was kind of a traditional area in the facilities program. But as we've kind of closed buildings over the last 6 or 7 years, that's kind of changed some of the rhythm to this. As you said, the 10-year double MCA, which affects 8 elementary schools in phase 2. That would certainly change the rotation on it. We've had a city council ordinance that doesn't allow us to do work sometimes in schools in phase. We've got a little bit of leeway on that now going forward. So there's been a couple of different things that have affected the rotation of those particular schools and projects. So we spent some time last October going through this item, and I do think if we can certainly revisit it with some new commissioners and a variety of questions that come up. So very happy to A, have the feedback, and B, be able to present items and be able to provide more clarity as questions arise.
Thank you. Any other questions on resolution 456? Well, I'm assuming that's a hand should be down. All those in favor of resolution 456?
Aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Vice President LeBron, can you come on screen to state your vote?
Yeah, I voted yes. I already voted in the system too. Thank you.
All right, thank you.
All set, 6-0, motion passes.
All right. Can I get a motion for resolution 457?
So moved.
Second.
Moved by Commissioner Malloy, second by
Commissioner Powell.
Commissioner Powell. Any discussion on resolution 457? Hearing none, all those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Any opposed to resolution 457? Okay, waiting on the screen to vote. Just let me know when we go to the next resolution, Kalia.
Sounds good.
All
I am
right.
waiting on, there we go, 6-0, motion passes. We can move on.
Thank
Just so you know, the pop-up screen doesn't come up like for everyone at the same time.
At the same
Some of us
time,
are
right.
sitting here waiting for the pop-up screen.
Right. Thank you for that, Commissioner Powell. Can I get a motion on resolution 4? Is it 457 or 458? Where are we at, Kalia?
458.
458.
Yeah,
So moved.
resolution. Who moved?
Powell.
Well,
Seconded.
All right, so Commissioner Powell moved and Commissioner Malloy second. Any discussion on resolution 458? Hearing none, all those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Any opposed to resolution 458?
Motion passes 6-0.
All right, thank you, Kalia. Can I get a motion for resolution 459?
So moved.
Is there a second?
I'll second.
So it's moved by Commissioner Malloy, second by Vice President LeBron. Any discussion on resolution 459?
Yes, I have a question on this one.
Vice President LeBron?
Yeah, I just want to understand what this is. And I also just want to point out how like the language used in some of this was a little bit odd in terms of equating the outcomes and success. Apparently the vendor's been used from 2016 to 2021. Just trying to understand what exactly they're doing. They do account that as the targets of college and career readiness index, they discussed that. They discussed that they were able to serve 684 students. But this was a little bit loaded. Brockport ETS exceeded its approved rate target of services to students of 9%. I was just trying to understand what all this was in relations to the work that we're doing, but what is this MOU? Yeah, somebody can. answer
Mario,
that.
I'm sorry, Vice President LeBron. Mario, are you able to, Chief Strickland, able to provide some clarity for this one?
I'm here. Apparently this was an actual MOU that preceded me. So there is a partnership between Brockport and Monroe High School, Monroe Upper and Lower, in which they would provide services to our students. As far as getting additional information, I will definitely do this. But again, as I said before, it did precede at least this board. And I know that this contract went through some, or this MOA actually went through some changes to make sure that we got language correct. And if you will, please add that to the board log, and I definitely will provide any additional information for you.
Okay, thank you. I am just
Yes.
curious as to what
No
the
problem.
program actually is versus some of the outcomes and how it was worded. Thank you.
Absolutely, no problem. Thank you for asking.
Any other questions on resolution 459? Hearing none, all those in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed?
Motion passes 6-0.
Okay, can I get a motion for resolution 460?
So moved.
Moved by Commissioner Powell
No, Commissioner Malloy.
Malloy.
and seconded by Commissioner Malloy. Any discussion on resolution 460?
Wait, hold on. I had Commissioner Malloy who motioned, needed a second.
My apologies. What
I'll
happens
second.
is I don't have the screen up because I'm trying to look at the resolutions, so please forgive me for that.
A
Any
second.
Say that again?
Was there a second that was needed?
Yeah,
Pauline?
Powell,
Yes.
Commissioner Powell.
Yes.
Second. All right. So any discussion on resolution
I got
460?
it.
Okay, thank you.
We're good? Any discussion on
Yes.
resolution 460? Hearing none, all those in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed to resolution 460? Okay, waiting on the screen for Kalia to,
It's up.
all righty.
Mhm. Motion passes 6-0.
Thank you. Can I get a motion for resolution 461?
So moved.
Moved by Commissioner Malloy. Is there a second? Is there a second?
I'll
Who did
second.
the second?
Commissioner Powell.
Second by Commissioner Powell. Any discussion on resolution 461? Hearing none, all those in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed to resolution 461? Okay, motion carries. Right, Kalia? Motion carries 460?
Motion does carry. I'm just waiting on one additional vote.
Okay,
Just to confirm.
sure.
Commissioner Patterson? I'll take your vote manual. Are you frozen? I just want to make sure you're not frozen.
He's frozen.
Oh, he is. All right, well, it looks like we lost him. I will mark him not present at the vote. Given that situation, we'll wait for him to return until marking him.
All right. Can I get a motion for resolution
Oh, he's
460?
back. He's back.
Oh, there we go. Oh, Commissioner Patterson, would you like to record your vote for 461? You're muted. Just want to hear your voice vote.
Yes.
Thank you.
Okay, thank you, Commissioner Patterson. Can I get a motion for resolution 462?
So moved.
Moved by Commissioner Malloy. Is there a second?
Second.
Seconded by Vice President LeBron. Any discussion on resolution 462?
Yes.
Commissioner Malloy?
Yeah, just a quick question. I'm wondering, this was the resolution, I think pertaining to Agile, the sports development organization. I'm wondering how these sports were chosen, and will this include the possibility of expanding this to some of our other athletic teams to help grow our programs? My concern here is that, my only concern is that I'd like to make sure that we aren't favoring some programs over others. And we've had a number of sports programs that are really in need of further development and investment, especially as related to creating accessibility for students maybe in sports where students of color are often underrepresented in the United States, such as swimming, golf programming, et cetera. So I just wanted to know if someone could clarify if we're planning on an expansion here or how these sports were selected. Thank you.
Commissioner Malloy, I do not believe that Dr. Black is with us this evening. I can certainly reach out to Dr. Johnson, our head of physical education and athletics, and get that clarity if it's in the question log. But from all my conversations with her, I would believe that we would be open to doing a whole variety of things with a variety of sports. So, but I don't want to presuppose that answer. So if that can go into the question log and then I can follow up with Dr. Johnson, will that work this evening?
Question has been added to the log.
Thank you.
Any other questions on resolution 462? Hearing none, all those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Any opposed to resolution 462? And we'll wait on the vote, the dialogue box for the vote.
Just waiting on one more vote. Commissioner Malloy.
Oh, I'm so sorry. It's a yay for me.
I don't see my box come up either.
You voted already.
Okay.
Yeah. And also Commissioner Malloy, your answer to the question has been added to the chat.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Okay, can I get a motion on resolution 463?
So moved.
Commissioner Vice President LeBron motioned it, and is there a second?
So moved.
Second.
Or second.
Seconded by Commissioner Patterson. Any discussion on resolution 463? Hearing none, all those in favor?
Aye.
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 Any opposed on resolution 463? Can I get a
Motion passes 6-0.
Thank you. Can I get a motion on resolution 464?
So moved.
Second.
Moved by Commissioner Malloy, seconded by Commissioner Powell. Any discussion on resolution 464?
I would just add that we haven't received any public comment during the first or second readings.
Any other comment on resolution 464? Hearing none, all those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Thank you. Can I get a motion for
Motion passes 6-0.
All right, thank you. Can I get a motion for resolution 465?
So moved.
Motion, wait, hold on one second.
We
Motion
haven't
before-
discussed them yet.
Yes, 465 is to go into executive session. It is,
Okay,
it is not public just yet.
all
So
right,
For executive session to be called for at the end of the new business.
okay. Commissioner Powell, I saw your hand. Is that a new hand?
No, I didn't mean to raise my hand at all. I was looking to see what the chat that came through and whether it was pertaining to the policy.
Okay, all right. Commissioner LeBron?
Yes, I just want to take a point of personal privilege if I can before we move into new business. I actually just want to shout out some of the schools. And so I'm going to read all of the schools and then just shout them out for the work that they're doing. And I hope that we as the district can spotlight all of our schools and all of the wonderful things that they're doing. So shout out to school number 42, Rise 34, 8, 54, 53, 25, 22, school number 9, 17, number 5, Joseph Wilson Foundation and Early College. And I'm going to use Early College to point out, as you mentioned earlier, President Elliott, that our graduation rates overall for the district are like astronomically high and like probably the best that we've seen in a very long time. But there are 4 schools from the district side that are in the 90s, and I want to shout them out specifically because it takes a lot of work from our staff, our teachers, and our students to get to that 90 mark. And we should be celebrating that we have schools in the 90s as well. I recognize that we have schools even in the 60s, and we'll do what we need to do to support them to get them to the 90s. But I want to shout out Soda, who has a 93.8 graduation rate. Rochester Early College is at a 92.6 graduation rate, and they need a building, and I'm gonna bring that up again during budget season, but I just want to shout them out for that. School Without Walls is at a 92.5%, and World of Inquiry is also at an 87.5. So not in the 90s, but right, very close to. And I just want to also just shout them out with this point of personal privilege to give them kudos as well, because they're in our top 4 of the entire district and our top 3 of all the entire graduation rates for all the schools in the district. Thank you.
Thank you, Commissioner LeBron. I applaud that. And if I could do cartwheels, I would do cartwheels, but That's not possible anymore. So we need to go in, is this? at this point?
No. Point of order, Madam
Sure.
President. Under new business, we have our first and second readings of policies.
Okay,
I just want to call out that policy 0000, which is our essentially our district goals, is available on board docs for any of our watching public to see. We're not going to, although I see that Charisma is bringing it up. I just want our watching public to know that they can go into board docs and see these both track changes and clean copy. We have board goals, which is policy 2000, consultants to the board 2280, administration in the absence of policy administration in policy absence. Basically, that means if we don't have a policy, the decision-making power is retained by the superintendent. And then the policy 3000 is the superintendent's goals and objectives. That's all in under the board docs heading of 12B. We also, because of the changes made to that block, we have in 12D a recommendation to rescind policy 0200. And finally, under policy 12A, we have a whole host of first readings. These are mostly our facilities policies, everything from the facilities goals, lead safe schools, community use of schools, and the naming of schools. We did tack on another policy that had needed a little wordsmithing, I guess, and that was policy 2390 and the exhibit that goes with policy 2390. So for our viewing audience, if you have any comments, concerns about either set of policies in the first or second readings, you'll have one more chance with the second readings, as we will be voting on them next month. With the first readings, you'll have two more opportunities next month and the month after to register your comments. And that does conclude the new business section.
Commissioner Powell, I just want to thank you for handling our policy committee, because that's a lot of detailed work, and just thank you so much for that. You keep us on track with those policies. So
detail is my middle name.
Thank you so very much. And so at this point, I need a motion for us to go into executive session to discuss, and Adrian, help me out with what we're discussing. Is an employment matter.
Actually, to get advice from counsel. So it can be an exempt session, and then we have the suspension appeals, which are also exempt. So we're going into an exempt session.
All right, so we're going into an exempt session. That's the purpose?
Yes.
Yep. Commissioner Powell, you had
Yeah, just a quick insertion here is that as we're transitioning off of our broadcasting platforms, if we could go to the board meeting poll as board members and register our survey results.
So should we do that before we take the motion, Adrian, or?
Actually, you could take it, because we don't, actually, that's
we have to come out
to vote on suspension appeals.
Suspension appeals, right.
We'll do it at that point. All right. So can I get a motion to go into executive session?
Motion.
All right. Motion by Vice President LeBron, seconded by Commissioner Malloy. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Okay, so we're going to ask everybody but the board members to
I need,
We're back into open session, and we have some resolutions that we have to vote on. And Callie, I'm going to ask you to give me what those resolution numbers are.
Only one resolution with 3 parts. It is resolution 460.
465. All right. So can I get a motion for resolution 465?
So moved.
Moved by Commissioner Malloy. Can I get a second?
Second.
Seconded by Vice President LeBron. We have no discussion on this matter in the open forum. So all those in favor of resolution 465?
Aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Thank you. The motion carries.
Yes.
And
the voting is open for anyone.
Let's see here.
Okay, the motion passes 6-0. Thank you.
And we need to do the board meeting survey.
Correct. The link is in your board docs.
All right.
Mine's not coming up. There it is. Got it.
And Commissioner Powell, Charisma will be sharing with you the poll. I know you had made a previous request to amend your poll for your committee. And so next week she will share it with you so you can go ahead and make any edits to that.
Oh, I don't know if I was muted when I answered. Thank you.
No problem.
So is the poll complete, or is people still working on it?
I can double check. It looks like most folks are finished. You can just take a vote to adjourn when you're finished, President Elliott.
All right, so can I get a motion to adjourn?
Motion.
Motion by Commissioner Malloy, and can I get a second by Vice President LeBron? All in favor? I know there's no discussion about leaving, so all in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? All right, good night, everybody. Thank you for joining us this evening.
Right.
Have a good night, everyone.
Night.